What's up, y'all? This is AD Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. Brothers of Legacy will be starting in the next few minutes, as you can see by the timer. But I just wanted to thank you for watching and being a part of our growth and all the things that we are a part of. BOL is really making an impact in the community and the people around it. It's very encouraging to have the opportunity to meet people that have seen the program. Also, I want to encourage you to watch the other programs that I'm a part of and BOL is connected to, like Sisters of Legacy, Purpose for Forever, Solomon's Temple, and the Brothers Who Talk. We are in the process of doing some big things coming in December, and I'm excited for the changes that are happening. So, two things I need you to do. First off, I know you're watching this, so make sure you share. This is an opportunity to share. Yes, we're not live yet, but this is your chance to share. Tag somebody, tag another brother, tag another sister that really needs to be a part of this community as we discuss the issues that we're facing as men, as Black men, and as leaders in our household. It is imperative that you are a part of this conversation, because through conversation, change happens. Also, and I've said this before, but we are in the process of growing and expanding. And with that, we're asking you to contribute into that growth. So you have an opportunity to go to Cash App, $BOL 2019. This gives you an opportunity to invest in the Brothers of Legacy growth as we reach different states and reach out and connect with you straight away and help other men become better men. So even if you don't give one time, you can give. I'm pushing the dollar drive, just $1. You know, if you do it once a month, $1, it helps with our growth. Every little bit helps. So I'm encouraging you to when you have the opportunity, do it now, right before we start. You can give into the Brothers of Legacy. So stay tuned. Listen, we have an awesome show, as we always do. I appreciate you taking this time, and time is running short. So I want you to be blessed, keep pushing, keep growing, and enjoy the show. Yeah. Good morning. What's up, everybody? It's another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your man, AD Walker. So I appreciate you. Like I said, this is an opportunity to share. Sharing is caring. Make sure you tag other men or someone that may just need to hear this and be a part. This is going to be an interesting conversation. Let's see. Hold on. I was just typing something up real fast that I meant to put down. That's very important as well. And I'm going to put it up again. So let's see. So this is going to be a great show. Like I said, make sure you share and tag. And if on Periscope, make sure you share to your followers. I know Periscope time is running short in March. Actually, the end of March. Periscope will be closed down. So voting today in Georgia. What up? Good morning, Lisa. Good morning. Thank you for sharing. What up, Terry? Terry won't be in the building today. My other brothers are on the way. So we're going to have a great conversation. But if you are in the state of Georgia, make sure you are rocking the vote. That's old school, right? Remember, rock the vote. Good morning, Mama McCory. Good morning. So make sure you vote today. I'm thankful that today is voting day, because I will no longer get thousands upon thousands of mailers from Ossoff and Warnock about getting out a vote. All the written postcards, hand mail, actual letters. Yeah, it's crazy how much has been spent on this election, but it's very important. It's decision making and shifting the House and the Senate in the direction that the Democrats wanted to go. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, so so it's very important that you vote today. That you vote today. Make sure you vote. Get out, rock the vote, vote or die. All the slogans and sayings. If you're in Georgia, make sure you vote. Like we always say, we don't push what side you vote for, but make sure you use the right that you've been given. This is a right, not a privilege. You have given a right to vote. So make sure you use so. Good morning. Good morning. Elder McNair in the building. Sup. All right. So we're gonna kick it off as like we always do. Let me hit this intro, then we're gonna come back and have a lively discussion. And maybe just me today. We'll find out. All right. All right, guys. Take care. Hold on. And I think I have, you have got too much stuff. There we go. Let's get it. I didn't want to catch that. Morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Ooh. Welcome to another episode. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody? All right. So today, we are talking about, I'm talking about, what has shaped us as men growing up. What environments did you grow up in, or I'm talking about what I grew up in to help me become who I've become, and even the mistakes and things that I went through to get to where I am. Things you learn. The older you get, the more you realize things that needed to be changed. Some of the habits that you needed to change, some of the thought processes that you might have learned when you were growing up that needed to change as well. But then always the good things that you come out of that has helped keep you from going into certain situations or making the wrong decisions. So we're going to talk about that today. Let's put this right here. Let's see. So, yeah, there we go. The environment of men that shapes who we are. There you go. So, all right. So for me, this it's funny, right? I'm gonna just keep it real. And to all my podcast people, thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Make sure you rate and review on Apple. It's crazy because I don't go live alone. It's been a long time since I just straight live by myself. So I've gotten so used to having my peoples here that we bouncing off each other. So it's just bear with me as I rock this thing. But for myself, growing up, I grew up in New York, Roosevelt, New York. Yeah. And growing up there, 2-parent household, middle class-ish. There are some principles, that I learned in my household. And my dad, one of the main things that I learned from him was the value of work. My dad, no matter what, he always went to work. He never let anything break that stride, and that was one of the biggest values that I got from him. I can literally remember him, putting on his socks and shoes, getting ready to go to work, because he used to work for the transit system, MTA buses. He used to drive a bus in the city, and he did that for like 30 years, I think. But yeah, he would, and I just could like literally remember him. Like my bed was like in the room, the step was like right around there. I can literally see it like right now, him putting his socks and shoes on like every morning, like clockwork. And it's probably around 6:30 ish. And I didn't even need to be up there, but I just remember seeing it so vividly. But one of the main thing was work, and what that put into me as far as having a standard of maintaining my household through work, always finding ways to bring money into the household and not letting that fall short. All right. Pastor McCory in the building. So one of another thing that I got was a sense of peace in the household, right? So, my dad would like me, because I'm like him, never one that caused a big ruckus, unless you have to. Like he was, you would know people are in the household, but there's never a lot of loud talking and things of that nature. It's just the nature of the household. Some households are like always busy. Like the volume is always up, just because of how things interact, not from like arguing or fighting, right? Right. It's always, hey, what you doing over there? Hey, and my neighbor next door, their discussions, if you were standing outside, you would swear like it's World War III happening, and they're just having a conversation. It's just, and it doesn't matter what it's about. It's just the elevated level of volume. So in our household, it was always a sense of quiet. Like all conversations stayed at a certain volume in our household. So it's always, and going further than that, there was always peace. Like it was, my dad never allowed anyone to disturb the household. Like none of the friends that ever came over, anybody, any relatives never came in and disturbed the household. He kind of always set order in the household, and he was a man of not many words, but his presence was always known. So it just, you just knew this is how things are. You see, my voice is not elevated. You see, I'm not causing a ruckus. I don't expect you to do the same, because then you're gonna have to go. So these are some of the principles that I learned growing up in my household from my dad. And then one of the, we talk about work, talk about peace, his presence, and then there was like a consistency. There was an expectation. My dad was home at a certain time. He was never the one to run the streets all hours of the night. My mom's pretty much knew or had an idea of where he's going to, just before cell phone. So I'll call you when I get to where I'm at, wherever I'm going. There was no in between chatter. But my mother never had to wonder where he was at, because there was only a few places, either work, this gentleman, Mr. Payne, or even next door. So it was always, these are some of the principles I learned as a man to bring into my household, was the work, being present, having that peace and consistency. So that's just like growing up in my household. Good morning, Pastor.
Morning.
Day.
Happy Tuesday. Can't find my glasses.
Oh. You can't find your other glasses.
My other glasses.
Okay. Because I know somebody's like, he got them on. He got them
on. No, my everyday glasses. I had to put on my fashion statements this morning.
Right. Those are nice. I like those. Good morning, Cole. Cole said, my dad never allowed anyone to disturb the household. Right. Great phrase, because my father was that way when I was a child, and molded the same thing. Raise your voice and you can get out of here. Right. Right. Like, I think the only time it got only ruckus was when his mother would come. Of course, my grandmother, his mother would come, and they will always have political debates. Now, the bad part is, I wish I stayed down in the den to really hear what they discuss. I know my dad was a conservative, so I could only assume my grandmother was more of a liberal or Democrat, because they would go back and forth. I could literally hear about Carter and Reagan. so the debates with them, that was probably like the most that the voice got raised, because they would just go back and forth, because he wasn't about to put his mama out, because she flew in from Tennessee and she wasn't about to leave. so those are the only, those are the loudest it usually got. Those two would go back and forth, but outside of that, it's much peace in the house. What about you, Pastor? What was your life growing up, and things that you learned?
Oh man. Tell the truth. But I used to lie. I used to lie.
Oh.
But the message was tell the truth.
Right.
My mother was always a believer in in telling the truth. You know,
Right.
I learned that if you told the truth the first time, you may get in trouble, but God help you if you lie. You know, yeah. Um,
Hey,
and
Sid.
pick up behind yourself.
Right. Oh,
You know, my mother was a believer in it's okay to be in the room, it's okay to have a good time, but when you leave the room, nobody should know that you were there.
right. Right.
Right. Uh,
Right.
and that started in the kitchen.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I learned from my mother. She said there are a lot of people who can cook, but there's a difference between someone who can cook and a cook.
Mm.
And there was a
Okay.
life lesson in that. You know, she said people who can cook can go in the kitchen and cook a great meal,
Right.
but destroy the kitchen in the process.
Right. Right.
She said a cook can go in and cook a great meal, clean up behind themselves, and by the time you sit down to eat, you can't
Right.
even tell they had been in the kitchen.
Right. Wow.
Right. Uh, and so there was so much to that
Right.
with me because I realized that when you're a troublemaker, you leave trouble in your wake.
Ooh. Yes.
And so my mother would always say, clean it. And it was always a deeper lesson for her. For her, it was like, you know, pick up your toys, clean up your room, all that kind of stuff. But she
Right.
was really saying, don't leave a mess everywhere you've been.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
those are the things that I learned. I mean, that's what she was teaching. It took me a
Right.
long time to learn it.
Right. Right. Right.
Those are the things that she was teaching, and pay what you owe.
Mm.
You know, don't be indebted to people.
Right.
I mean, love people, but pay what you owe. You owe somebody something, give it to them. Don't have
Right.
them waiting. You know,
Right.
that was critical, and I think that a lot of that was because she was a single parent,
Okay.
and as a woman, you could not owe anybody
Right.
because you know it was a man's world, and
Yes.
men would use that as leverage over
Right.
women.
Right.
You know, and so she believed in keeping things clear and clean.
Right.
No man came in our house pushing weight around. Just didn't
Right.
happen because she
Right.
didn't owe anybody. You
Right.
know, she didn't owe any favors or anything. And so that was a lot of what I grew up with in my house. So
Wow.
those are a couple things.
Right. I think it's funny. I think about the yes, had an MRI scan. No, I've never, not that I can
Yes,
remember.
I have.
Um, but I think I think about the cleanup and the not leaving the mess. Like I always clean the kitchen. I don't know. Like I won't say I obviously I was a child, so I know I didn't do it. You ever like know you do something? You like I know I was taught this. I just don't remember being taught it. You know.
Yeah. And that's my point. It's like, man, it was so deep. You know,
Right. Like I don't
I
remember getting
realized,
yelled at about this.
yeah, my mom didn't have, and I hate to say this out loud, but you know, my mom didn't have, like, she had female friends, but she didn't have a lot of female friends,
I got you. Okay.
right? Because she said, you know, it was always messy.
Right.
So
Right.
she had male friends, but she rarely was sweet on anybody. I found
Right.
out, you know, me and my mom had a conversation. I think I was probably 10 years out of the military when I realized that she was married to her sons.
Oh wow. Okay. I
Right?
got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything was about raising us and teaching us, you know, she put into us all the things that she desired in a man.
Got you. Okay.
Right. Uh, and she says, well, since I can't find it, I may as well build it. You know, no, we didn't all get it. We didn't get it all, but that's what she tried to do. You know, walking on the outside when you're walking a lady down the street and opening up the doors and all that. You know, a lot of that stuff you guys see me doing.
Right.
The stuff that I emphasize when I talk to the men.
Yeah.
You know, don't be on the passenger side of your car because if a woman is driving you in the car, she's typically driving you in life. You know, all that kind of stuff.
I got you. I got you.
My mother raised chauvinistic men.
I got you.
She really did.
I got you.
Because she carried so much.
Right.
It would have meant so much for her that if she didn't have to carry so much.
I got you. If you
So
had a
she
man
taught us to carry it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't make your woman have to do any of that stuff. That's how she was.
I
You
got
know?
you. Dump
And
more
that's
into you.
different. That's different than a woman needs to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yes,
You know?
indeed. Yes, indeed.
So it's those types of things that she put in.
Let's see.
If anybody started to fight, you finish it. That was one too. Don't get beat down. She said,
Right.
I learned from my mom. I have this old saying. I say, I may not win the fight,
Right.
but you'll never want to fight me again. Right. And that's a victory. That's a victory. Because it wasn't about winning and losing. It was about never having to fight the same person twice.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do it Thursday. Let's see. Dr. Rollins said, my mom taught me your word is bond. See,
truth. That's it. Yep.
Yeah, I used to lie a lot. I lied a lot. I lied a lot. I think my lying stopped, and I remember at the moment my mom said, I am so disappointed in you. You really hurt me. Like word. Like she said, like I've gotten spankings. I've got so much, but the word when she said it, like I'm like 44 now, and I still remember her sitting on the side of the bed and find out about another lie and saying that, like, I just sat in the room, I was shook. I was just shook, and it really, really affected me. Oh,
yes, chauvinistic is not a negative word, Dr. Rollins. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. That's why I make it clear that I'm not talking barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. There is a difference in people's understanding. Yeah.
Nice. Let's see. Okay. So moving out of the household, and I feel like it seems like you get a plethora of so much more when you get out that you learn. So what did you learn coming out of the household? What
that I left too soon. I wasn't ready. My mouth was open. I wasn't ready. That everything my mother said was true.
Wow.
That's what I learned. Wow. She said, "You're gonna be glad I told you this," and I'm glad. She said, "You're gonna be glad that I put my foot in your behind," and I'm glad. You're gonna remember this when you get older. I remember. All that stuff. Was factual, and so that's when I got out. Because you got to realize when I left home, I went to basic training.
Right.
When I left basic training, I went to Korea.
Wow.
So I didn't leave the house and go across to another state. I didn't leave the house and go across the street or go to a different city. I went to another country.
Right. Right.
So it was a hard, and I was 17. Wow. So 17 years old, landing in Korea.
Right.
And don't have the ability to just pick up and go home if you want to.
Right. Right.
I couldn't even call home. Calling home was a process in 1985, Right. It was a process, Wow. And so you couldn't just call home. I think I probably talked to my mom twice the whole time I was in Korea, maybe, 13 months. And at 17 years old, to go from seeing her every single day, not seeing her for an entire year and talking to her twice, and the only communication was via mail.
Wow.
That was a rude awakening for a 17-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cole said that it's crazy that it wasn't the spankings that hurt as much as hearing a quiet, "I'm disappointed in you" tone from your mother or father. That cuts deep, definitely.
I didn't get that. We didn't. I don't know what y'all call spankings. I don't know what a spanking is. When someone says spanking, I'm thinking somebody bend you over their knee and they pat you on the butt. I don't know anything like that.
I'm using I'm trying to use the halfway correct term. I mean, you probably can't.
Shirley McCrory did something that you could only find in a prison movie.
Wow, you could just talk about moms like that.
Listen, Sam, I got spankings and I got beatings. There were I literally could still hear the jingling of the belts when things went bad. She go in the belt, there's the closet. She go get the I'm like, it's just the psychological of it, like, oh gosh, she's going to get the belt.
The southern version of that was a little bit worse because the psychological part of it was, hey, go walk down the street behind that house. And there's a tree back there.
Not exactly where.
I want you to find a bush and bring me back and it better not break.
See, my mother didn't send us for nothing because her mood, she didn't want her mood to change. She didn't want too much time to go by.
I don't want to come out of this. I don't want to.
Right.
I'll give you all of this.
Right, you're like the Carpenters might come on the radio and change my mood. She used whatever she could grab, whatever was closest. My mother had a belt. My mother had a belt that was about. It was probably. It was one of them old school 1970s leather belts that had like the metal studs in it.
Cowboy belt.
Yeah, that old cowboy belt. Heavy and she had used it so much that the end of the belt, the tip of the belt, the leather had split. So there were two layers of leather. So it had split like this at the end of the belt. And so you could hear the belt when she was coming. But what was worse than the sound of the belt was the sound of her slippers on hardwood stairs, coming up the stairs. You knew if you heard that jingle, and it wasn't a jingle, more like a clunk. With the belt. and those slippers and plastic bottom slippers on them hardwood stairs, it was a wrap. But thankfully, I didn't get many whippings, man.
Them old bedroom slides, what you talking about?
Yes, sir.
They came in pink, black, and yellow.
Yeah. Light blue. They had light blue ones too.
Yeah, they did have light blue.
Ephraim said, my daddy named his belts. He said, I got spankings from my mother, I got whoopings from my father. He said, oh yes, great granny had plenty switches for those legs, right? That was when I was at my grandmother's house. Yeah, that's like I got the switch when I was at
multiple switches based on severity of trouble.
Right. right.
Look, I'm just saying, my mom had an array. It depended on her. Like, I didn't even know why people call these this, because the only time I ever heard the word was when my mom was about to beat me with it. You ever heard of a drop cord?
Yeah.
I heard an extension cord.
Yeah, see, we ain't call them extension cords. Yeah, I don't even know why they call them drop cords, but I know when she hit you with it, you drop.
Yeah, I never got the extension cord, but two of my brothers got that extension cord. I remember at least once. I remember, and that was, woo.
Like you felt it.
I feel it now.
It touched your soul, didn't it?
Oh man, I can't look like that whooping where you can't go to school.
Oh man,
let me look at your legs. Okay, just go back and then go to sleep. Go back and then go to sleep.
I came home one day from school, man, and my brother was he was still under the cover, shivering. I'm like, bro, you know it's bad when your brother be like, you okay? You okay?
Right. So Dwayne, going back, because when the conversation started, of course we're gonna pivot back into our disciplining. But what are some of the principles or things that you learned growing up in your household?
The first one, telling the truth goes a lot further. It goes a lot further than a lie. That was the first one. When my mom asked me anything, she already knew the truth. It took me a long time to learn that. But that was the first thing. Honesty and integrity.
Right. Come on, Cheryl.
And I found out that literally all the things that I thought I knew nothing. Right. Because she had an extensive network. Right. People were called throughout the streets. Hey, I just saw Dwayne doing A, B, and C. Did you know Dwayne was over at Shirley House? Hey, wow. Did you know Dwayne was fighting Claretha's son over there? So honesty was the first thing. But after that, it was taking care of each other. Your family, we had a big family, so it was one of those things. Family is all you got. Yeah. So definitely taking care of each other. I think those were the bedrocks. Christ came a little later in life, but everything else fell along the party lines, if you will. My mama house was a dictatorship. She was like Saddam Hussein meets Queen Elizabeth. She was very pleasant around other people, and she was all about looking the part. But because Pops wasn't around, she laid it down when she had to. So it was like what's that commercial with the little gooey candies, the little sweet and sour candies? They start out sweet, they start out sour, but they end up sweet.
Right.
It was like one of those, and that was growing up in the house. Absolutely. She was fierce. She inputted in us that family is to be taken care of at all costs, and there's no excuses when it comes to taking care of the responsibilities you got, regardless of how you got that way and who left you in them. And then to always be honest.
That's interesting. You said a dictatorship. Now we had an open house.
Okay.
You could express yourself in our house. We always had open conversations. We never had to shy away from how we felt or what our opinion was about something. That was always, but I think that came with the fact that my mom was a teacher, early childhood education. So it was important that children be allowed to express themselves. So we always had a voice in our house. It was a democracy. It wasn't a dictatorship.
I never
see. Ours wasn't quite a dictatorship like that. We had a voice. Hers just was the loudest.
I never felt like it was like open. Like, of course you try to raise your kids to, especially all of us now, the generation, we try to listen a little more, to what our kids are saying instead of jumping on them first. You want them, but you got to listen, see what happened, what's going on, and then I'll jump on you. At least we try to do that more, but I can never remember like it really being open, to really having an honest conversation about certain things, other than, when it's already done, why'd you do that? It's just like, I don't have any logical reason. I'm just going to take my L.
When I talked to her about it today, my mom says that, raising young boys, like she could see, like my mom was a product of the 70s. And so she was all about, Black power, for a long time. She had the Afro, my mom didn't wear dresses. She wore jeans, she wore tennis shoes. Sometimes she wore boots. She had a military fatigue jacket, She always carried this macho exterior, but she was a dainty lady, but she didn't want to be taken for granted. Like when my mom had to come to the school, she would dress in masculine.
Like, I'm finna get up in your stuff.
Right. She always did that. But she was a teacher, a preschool teacher. You know what I mean? It was crazy. But she said it was important for me to hear you all because I wanted you to grow up knowing that you had a voice.
Right.
That was the thing. Because she said, the world was so tough on Black men, even then. That a Black man without a voice is no good to the community. Now, she didn't say all of that. I'm saying that I think at the time it was just important for her to instill in us to speak what's on your mind.
Right.
Always have the ability to speak what's on your mind, and that went a long way with us.
Right. All right. So I was going
Your cousin
back.
got some interesting comments there.
He said Cole Johnson, that's the word I was looking for. That was my house charity. Ephraim said, is there anything you wish you could change, adjust, or focus on with your upbringing? Were there opportunities in the parenting styles?
Yeah, learn to tell the truth sooner.
Right.
Yeah, that for me.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys on that same. Did any of you have or have the same issues with your kids? Because my son, tell the truth earlier, I pretty much write it out for him. I almost have like a Morgan Freeman type monologue for him. Listen here, son. If you tell the truth, you're gonna miss this, this, and this. This and this is gonna happen when you lie. Look, don't I catch you every single time you lie? Look, your liver start to quiver a little bit when you lie. You see your lip quiver? You see right now? And he's still.
Yeah. I can't. I can't even lie because I got my wife on here. So, yeah, my son is unfortunately like the spitting image of my struggle when I was young. He's like,
that's funny.
Literally like, I mean, about the only thing different is school. Like his struggle is nothing like mine. Is my struggle is like I struggle to remember retaining and stuff like that. That, but he just noticed that he just don't do it. So I'm like son, I always remember this instant. I'm gonna give a quick story. It was probably like second grade or something like that. He was in like a math class, so we had had a conference with the teacher, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, he's having such a." She said, "Oh Lord, that mirror, right, Sam. We know. He's having such a struggle in math. I don't know why. So she had the concerned face, like he's like really having a hard time. This is way above his level. And I was like, so what's the work? So she pulled the work out. We looked at it. I looked at Sam. I was like, we've already done this work at home. Like this boy knows the work. So I took the papers. I put it in front of him. I said, boy, if you don't do this, so he figured it all. She looking like, I was like, yeah, I know. He playing you. So I was like, now he knows the work. So let's move forward. So it baffles me. I was like, boy, you know it. So, but I think for me growing up, like I said, telling the truth, I don't know. I think for my household, like if I could change like one thing, maybe my more open communication, just about feelings and things of that nature. And I won't say they negated, but it wasn't like discussed enough. I think the quietness sometimes was like a cover. But I wish there was just more open discussions about things, because every household got stuff going on. And it's like, hey, I'm feeling this way. It's kind of weird. Like, what's going on? So I think for my household, I think that'd have been one of the things I would want to have changed. So I was moving forward, and I was asking Pastor like some of the lessons learned after you left your household and things that you've experienced afterwards.
Learn to tell sooner.
I dig it. He said, not using the tax of slave masters as a form of discipline. I know the spankings is, I mean, white people do it. Well, I guess because they were slave masters.
No, listen, it's different. You have to stop saying spankings. There's nothing wrong with spanking your child.
Right.
Whooping.
Right.
There's a difference.
Is a difference.
Beatings.
Right. Beatings. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'll go up to like Sam had said, we was talking about the level of beatings. She was saying abuse, and then Dr. Rollins doing, we're laughing at the trauma. Because that with some there is a level of trauma. Like even when my son needs to have a spanking, we calm down, we have a discussion. Like we get there, but I don't get there in anger. Like I don't want to beat you out of anger. Because then I'm letting out all kinds of frustration on you that you shouldn't have to deal with. The level should just be disciplined. So you have an understanding of the severity of your actions.
And some people may disagree with this statement for me. There were sometimes I needed a beating. I ain't
Yeah.
And those times that I needed a beating, Adam, this is why I laugh and joke, because most of me talking about growing up happened before the age of 12. Everything after the age of 12 was me seeing somebody else and finding the humor and the stupidity of their moment.
Right.
Because 12 years old was my last beating. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And after that, I think the last time I saw my mama my nephew was 16, 17, and he thought he could beat my mama. And she was like, "Oh, you think you're a grown man now?" Threw the switch down and she punched him dead in the chest. After that, it was mutual respect.
I think the last, for me, it was, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember how old I was. I think I might have been 14 or 15.
Okay.
I think I shared the story with you guys about the pine saw and cleaning the bathroom.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I was 13 because my mom and I were at the grocery store, and like the day before we were at the grocery store, she asked me to clean the bathroom. And the next day we're at the grocery store, and she's like, "I wonder, do we have any pine saw at home?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we do, because remember you told me to clean the bathroom?" Like, it was so unnecessary to tell that lie.
Right.
You understand? Like, I'm thinking she testing me to see if I clean the bathroom.
Right.
And she really just want to know if we have pine saw at home, because she don't want to buy it if we have it.
Right.
And we get home and she comes in the house, and I'm like, I can't even tell you, like, up until that point, I can't even tell the last time my mother physically accosted me. I think I may have gotten 4 whoopings my entire life.
Right. I got you.
And
he said, overthrow yourself into a beating.
Yeah. And so we get home, and she's upstairs in the bathroom, and she's like, and she calls me to the bathroom, and she's like, "Brian," I come upstairs. She's like, "I thought you told me we had some pine saw, bruh." She's like, "I can't even smell pine saw in here if you clean the bathroom."
I'm feeling it for you.
Man, no, I went all in. I was all in. I'm like, I'm opening the cabinet. No, what do you mean? I acted it all out. And I'll never forget this, man. My mom was like, in her mind, it's like this, like, I cannot believe he's taking it this far. And she's like, "Boy," and she grabbed a broomstick. And she put that broomstick up under my neck like this and hit me with the wall. And she said, "Boy,
look, you should have went on ahead and lied again."
I remember this bill.
Bro, you should have went on ahead and lied again and said, "Oh, that was last week. My bad."
Something. Double down on it. You got to double down.
When you get hit with that right now.
Yeah. And the thing is, she didn't even hit me, right? So what happened is she got me pinned up against the wall. And me, I'm taking it all the way. And I'm like, I'm not. And I moved the broom out the way.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not going to let you do that. And I walked down the stairs, walked out the house. If my auntie Lois was there, I went to my cousin's house, went over to Mooney's house, and spent the night.
Wow.
The next morning,
don't come home.
I call home. She answers, and I'm like, "I'm ready to come home if you're ready to treat me like I'm human." Wow. She said, and I quote, "Nigga, I don't care if you ever come home again." Click. Wow. Wow. I ran home so fast and apologized, crying, man. And that was it. Me and my mother never had any issues after that.
Wow.
We became best friends. We used to take walks.
You went from son to that nigga across the street.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. If you ever come home, it was like, "What, mama? But mama."
Yeah, it was a hang up. It was like the click. Like, how dare you walk out of this house?
Right.
Because you lied.
Right.
You understand?
You did it.
Yeah. You stay where you at. Yeah.
Right.
Like mine ain't never went that far. Like what I did was after I got it was a good beating too. It was one of those that you go to sleep and you get 12 o'clock at around noon. My mama was running away because it was one of the hours by she lit me up. I can't exactly say what I was doing, but it involved a game with neighbors that were female and we were hiding and stuff. And I got caught. And when she beat me, I grabbed a bag of stuff and I went under the bed because she couldn't get under the bed. So I crawled in too heavy for her to move. So I'm under the bed chilling and I go to sleep. I wake up about 5 hours later, but I thought it was the next day. I slept so good after that beating. That was the worst. I ain't never leave the house. I was scared she wouldn't let me back in for real.
Wow. So Halcino said they don't realize the lying at that level comes from their overreaction. I get you, but like I've had this discussion, like, yo, just tell me the truth is better. When you lie is when I get angry. like I try to like instill that, like, yo, if you tell me the truth, I'll be baffled. You may get punished, we may take something away, but when you lie, I get angry. So the offense doesn't even matter anymore. I
think it's true. It's true that certain people, I hear what he's saying. Certain people do, certain parents are under pressure already, right, and they take it out on the children. So there's an overreaction. But I think in most cases, it's really not. Because in our house, every time my mother was upset, it was justified. Right. And I think for us, for me, it was just avoid discipline at all costs. That's what it was about. Just avoid it at all costs. Man, I guess we got somebody up in here.
Yeah. They move pretty quick. I'm deleting and blocking. They really
do.
They didn't move quick. That was
Princess Fikidami.
She went after two people already.
She told Sam to text him now. Right. Text him now, Sam.
Text him now.
If you text right now, you get the prize. Look, my mama favorite saying, because everybody that we knew despised a thief.
Right.
Like everybody in the neighborhood despised a thief.
Right.
So whenever we would lie, I don't know if it was reverse psychology or what, but my mama had a phrase: "If you lie, you'll steal."
Right.
You stealing from me too, boy? Huh? Empty them pockets. Where you been today? Right. Go into your bed mattress. I don't believe you. If you lie, you'll steal. What you got?
Right.
That was a saying. Hey Mark. So Pastor here has been talking about a time that he ran away after he lied to Mama McCrory about cleaning with Pine Sol. And then he heard those infamous words. He said he had a nerve to call her and said, "If you're ready to treat me like a person, I'm ready to come back home."
Right.
Yeah.
And then she hit him with those immortal words.
Right.
Look, my mama is on here.
Right.
My mama knows the story. He's heard the whole time. Look at Mark.
There you go to validation. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Right.
We still we are in our 50s and we still trying to figure out who really drank that Sprite. we have an unsolved mystery in our house.
Let's get to it now, Mama McCrory.
Look, there's my mother.
Mama McCrory, who do you think drank the Sprite?
Yes,
we got an unsolved mystery that there was a Sprite in the refrigerator, and nobody owned it. We still don't know who drank that Sprite.
So who did it? Who did it, Pastor? Did you drink it?
No.
He said Gary. He said
Gary.
Somebody tag Gary in the comments.
I think Gary drank it too, man. Honestly, I really do. I never wanted to say that.
Well, most even said Gary.
Yep.
Oh man,
Jordan. Everybody know. Yeah, his stage name.
Oh, your brother, that's the actor. Okay,
yes.
gotcha.
Jordan Black. Yeah.
Jordan Black.
Oh, he was born Gary. Like his mama called him Clay. I'm
Gary. Gary.
Right, Mama called me Clay. Right, Mom had hear everything. Right, said Mama McCory has confirmed it. Right.
Oh yeah.
So let me guess.
Gary got away with murder.
Let me guess. Let me guess. Gary was the baby.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Famously.
So Sam said, my mom used to say that too, Dwayne. I guess if you lie, you'll steal.
Yeah. Hey, Mark said he was a good liar. Hey, look, I bet you y'all be in conversations right now. Mark was like, "That's why you in Hollywood right now. You like you."
No, he's talking about me. Oh, he's talking about you. Yeah. Well, no, Gary wouldn't just lie. He just wouldn't say anything.
Oh, so you was a. Okay.
I was the one who lied, man. Gary just wouldn't say anything.
Right, like you can't get me online. I didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
So was it you telling a lie, or were you a creative thinker?
See, thank you. No, my mother said I was a liar.
He said, McNair said my brother was accused of eating all the mom cut for all the kids. He still denied it. Was it candy? All right, give me clarity on that one. Who you accusing folks? Create all right, right?
Yeah, it was creativity.
That boy good. Good. All the cake.
All the cake. Yeah, we had one of those too. We had a chocolate cake in Chicago. Somebody snuck a piece of the chocolate cake in Chicago. I got away with that one though, because I was like, I didn't eat it, but
you heard him, Mama McCrory. He just told her.
Years later, because I didn't like chocolate cake. That was the thing. So I knew I was exempt. So gotcha. That was one incident where I was exempt.
If it was red velvet, if it would have been red velvet, you'd have been in trouble, wouldn't you?
Right.
Man, look, back then we didn't know what red velvet cake was. You got that was the folks with the good stuff.
I ain't even I never heard of red velvet.
Yeah. Chocolate and white cake. It was the chocolate cake, the white cake.
Yep, that's all I had too. And maybe if I got an ice cream cake once in a while, but red velvet was like, ooh, what is this stuff?
That, to me, that was a jacket or some pants. Red velvet.
Hey, put Halcino's comment up there. Let's see if we can. That's a good comment right there.
Said, all the movie quotes need to be from Color Purple. No more Coming to America, y'all. Not. Oh, there you go, Dwayne. There we go. Let it go.
Yeah. Let it go, Trump. Let it go, Trump.
Halcino, your mama, you ever came in the house and your daddy told her, mama to beat me, didn't you? All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my brothers. I had to fight my sisters. I love mama. I do. But I'd kill a day before I let her beat me.
You're right, Dr. Rollins. Because I moved. I got mine in North Carolina. My first red velvet.
I never heard of that.
Well, I'm from the country, so yeah, that's what we do.
He said the teacher told my mama to be. I calling my house with that nonsense. Set you up.
And look, we had we get paddles in school back then when I was growing up.
Yeah. I think I got it maybe once from a math teacher. I think it was in like a slap in the hand with the ruler.
No rulers at my school.
Yeah, I think that was. I think I was on the way out. The whole.
You remember the old cutting boards that you could grab, the wooden cutting board? That's how our paddles look. They look like a smaller version of that.
Yeah.
And Mr. Kenny was the principal. He walked with a limp. The thing that we was convinced, the only thing that worked on him good was his arm, was his right arm, because everything else was like when he walked, he had one of the emotions. You sitting out on when the person in front of you is getting one, and you can hear the paddle cut through there.
We had a shop class, and so we would have a competition in shop class.
Oh, y'all was making them?
Who could make the best paddle, and whoever made the best paddle, the dean took the best paddle and would use that paddle for the year. Yeah,
making your own device.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But my mother did not allow whoopings from any school. She would say, if you get in trouble, tell them to call home. Wow. And what I learned was I'd rather take the paddle at school, because they were like, well, your mom says we have to call her. I'm like, no, just hit me. Just don't call my mother. Just
take my L right here, right?
Yeah. I don't think my mother knows this. There were times she didn't get a call because we learned to just take the paddling at school.
No doubt. No doubt. Halcino said, crazy story. One teacher hit me, Miss Saunders, 4th grade. He said, fast forward to homecoming 7 years at St. Aug, and she there dressed up. He said, didn't know if I should say hi or trip her.
Boy, look, I'm glad my principal was an ugly man, because I might have had a complex against women if I'd have got a beaten by a woman like that.
Right. It's called the night of the American Music Awards night. Michael Jackson got 19 awards. I put on the PJs with the footies on them. Still got the whooping of life.
Hold on. What did you do?
Right. So I was beaten with a Soul Patrol paddle. It looks just like those paddles you see for dirt. Wow, that clap.
Yeah.
Look, the name of it though, Soul Patrol.
Right.
It's gonna find you. That sound like they was looking for a runaway. The Soul Patrol.
Right. Yeah, my mother would have. Yeah, they'd have some problems.
He said, "Hope this don't mess things up for you, Pastor. But red velvet cake is a true chocolate cake with the different."
I know. Yeah, I know now. I learned that. I really learned that the first time I ate red velvet cake. I'm like, that's chocolate.
But it tastes better though. But it tastes better because I don't like chocolate cake. I will velvet up.
Yeah, because I still today don't eat chocolate cake, but I will eat up some red velvet cake. Absolutely.
Right. There's only one chocolate cake I've eaten in my life and liked it. It's called Better Than Sex Cake. Y'all look it up. Exactly what it is, but it's like Heath and the sweet condensed and chocolate and all types of whipped creams and stuff put together, but it's good. But regular chocolate, nah, I can't do it. Can't do it.
It's psychological for me because I don't even eat chocolate ice cream.
He said it's all in your mind. Halcino said red velvet might be a tad overrated. There you go, Halcino. You can't just agree.
You're gonna get in trouble here in the South telling folks red velvet is overrated.
Look, anybody who says that is not from the south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Oh, he said had a
okay.
German chocolate cake. It's off the chain. Had a girlfriend cook it. Pastor has a story around that.
Hey, I didn't name it. I just enjoyed it.
Man! All right.
Well, the DMV technically, I can't say it don't count, but y'all confused up there. Even though y'all are truly part of the South, y'all a little bit confused because y'all go from the go-go music with the long socks with the stripes on them to thinking you from the South, or some of you sound just like you from the. Y'all got to make up y'all mind. Y'all too blended in the DMV. I love y'all, but yeah, y'all a little too much going on.
Dr. Ross says my granny makes that cake. It's all right. It's all right.
All the better than second cake.
We South too. Come on, we South too. I gotta look at your side eye now. Talk about you don't like chocolate.
Hey, I can't. Hey, man, sorry, bro. Don't do it. I would get Neapolitan ice cream and throw the entire chocolate section down the sink.
You sound just like for real. Like my brother. I don't know if it was because did your brother like everything? Did you like stuff?
My brothers love chocolate ice cream, but they wouldn't mess with the strawberry.
So you like strawberry?
I love strawberry.
So you took the whole chunk.
That was me and everything that my brother didn't like. I liked, and everything he liked,
So Neapolitan.
Neapolitan was the only way I could get strawberry ice cream.
Wow, you're right, because it had to be mixed and everybody gets something. Right, you're right.
Yeah, it had those gallon buckets with the free
trouble. Strawberry good. Here it goes. Told you this. All right, guys. So we appreciate you. We're gonna probably dig into this a little more going forward, but tomorrow. So listen, today is voting day. Today is voting day. Voting today in GA. So make sure you vote. Shout out to Warnock and Ossoff. I don't need any more I don't need any more postcards or letters or flyers in my mail. Thank you so much. I'm so glad it's voting day because I feel like there's been billions spent on all of those ads and everything. So I'm thankful that it's over and we will get the results tonight. So make sure you guys vote. If you haven't voted, today is it. Today is voting day. If you're in the state of Georgia, make sure you vote. It is very important. Like we always say, we're not going to sway you either way. I mean, if you watch any of our commentary, you already know which way we're going. So, but vote because it is your right to vote. So make sure you vote and make it happen. Let's see. Boom. That's our kids. Oh yeah, opposites. Yeah, our kids are opposite. One, my daughter can eat everything under the sun, and she don't like sweets. My son will eat every sweet under the sun, but he don't like food. So he's very picky. Voted early. Yes, indeed.
Thank you, McNair. Thank you, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, look, if you don't vote, you're not white. If you don't vote, you're not black.
Right.
If you don't vote, you're not American.
Right. Right. There you go.
If you don't vote,
we only talked about whoopings today, so we need another show.
We do. We are going to. I know. We kind of got stuck there. I know. That's the way. You don't have a problem with swaying about me. Oh Lord! All right, you guys a trip down memory lane. He said this for coming to Trump. Let it go, Trump. Let it go.
Hey, so listen.
Yes.
Waiter, there's something wrong with my soup. He said, taste the soup. I said, was it too hot? Is it too cold? I said, don't worry about taste the soup. Is the soup is it spicy? Is it just taste the soup? He said, okay, I'll taste the soup. Where's the spoon? Aha. Aha.
All right. On that note, we're gonna get out of here. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. We discuss election results and we'll dig into this topic again and what's tomorrow? Wednesday, Hot Topic Wednesday. And we'll probably cover some of what we covered today, but Thursday we probably go back into this, but because tomorrow is going to be some great stuff to talk about. All right, that's it. That's all. Make sure you vote. Make sure you stay safe. Keep your 6 feet. Wear your mask. I don't have any. What was I about to say? Any opinion on the vaccine as of yet? So whatever you choose is up to you. So we'll say that because we are not doctors. We are not doctors. You got a thought, Dwayne? You got a thought? You got an idea?
I'm just saying it's a new year, so keep the thoughts coming. Don't shoot down. Keep working your thoughts.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Always know that we love you, but God loves you more. Stay safe. Stay safe. Take care. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode. Good morning.